Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be sharing with you some farming mistakes that most farmers make. This video is going to be a series. I'm going to make it a series. I don't want the video to be too long, so I'm going to break it down. As for this particular video, I'm going to be discussing common mistakes in planning. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do well to subscribe, and if this is your first time of seeing my face on your screen, also do well to subscribe and join this great community. So in this video I'll be sharing with you common mistakes in planning. I have not seen any successful business without proper planning. It also boils down to someone who wants to start up a farm, or a farmer who is already into farming business or want to start a particular farming. You need to properly plan. If you don't plan, you will fail. So you need to plan on how to run your farm. Either you want to start a commercial farm or a small farm, whichever, you need to plan. Okay, so some mistakes also some farmers make is this: once they hear or see that this particular farming business is yielding more money, or you are going to make 1 million, 2 million, however, from this particular business, they tend to jump into it without proper research, without proper planning. Now when they jump into it and fail, they begin to blame people on their failure, which is very bad. So as a farmer or someone who wants to start up a commercial farm, a small farm, all you need to do is to sit down and plan yourself very, very well. Plan yourself. It is very, very necessary to plan, so that you don't fail on the wrong run, so that you don't encounter problems and then you begin to blame whatsoever. Now as a farmer, there is an area you specialized in, or someone who is starting, there is an area you have made up your mind to specialize, whether you want to start a crop farming, or you want to rear animals. Even in rearing animals, there must be a particular animals you want to rear. I always suggest, as a beginner, you have to start just one. You have to start one, then you can now, in future, you can now diversify. You have to start small as a beginner. Now you have made up your mind on the particular crop you want to go into, or the type of animal you want to rear. The first thing you do is to get adequate knowledge on that particular crop, on that particular animal, on how to rear them and farm if it is crop farming. So you have to get adequate knowledge before you start anything you want to do. Now when you have gotten the right knowledge, another thing you should do is to sit down and plan yourself. Plan on how you will run the business. So if you've made up your mind, let's say for instance you want to rear fish, you have to ask yourself, which type of fish? Is it the catfish? Is it the tilapia fish? You have to know the particular fish you want to rear depending on your market and the environment where you find yourself. You have to check the kind of fish that is dominant, that people in that area rear. That is the kind of fish you are going to rear also. So you have to plan yourself. If it is fish, you know the kind of fish you want to do, then the kind of pond you want to use, and where you site your fish farm. You have to know all these things. The water you have to excrete from the farm, where do you excrete it? Do you excrete and people around you begin to complain? If it is the poultry bed, their noise, how do you manage the noise? If the farm is sited in an environment where there are other people around there living there too, how do you intend to manage their noise? The odor that comes from the poultry, how do you manage it also? So these are the questions you need to ask yourself, then answer it. By the time you answer it, you are planning ahead on how to handle the farm business. So these are the things you need to put in place. You also need to site your farm. You know where you are siting your farm, whether the farm is going to be close to you or far away from you. Securing it. How do you secure your farm against hoodlums and thieves? So you have to figure it out also. So by doing this, you are planning on how to run the farm. Now, bringing it down to crop farming. If you are a crop farmer or someone who wants to start a crop farming business, you will ask yourself which kind of crop you want to go into, depending on the area you find yourself. You get adequate knowledge on the crop you want to start. Even if you are a farmer and maybe you want to diversify to other crop, you also get one or two knowledge from that particular crop, on that particular crop you want to venture into. By doing this, answering all these questions yourself, you are planning on how to run your farm. Trust me, by the time you are done planning, there will be no problem on the long run. You will understand the reason why you planned. Now, for those people that want to start crop farming, now before you start, you have to test your soil. Failure to test your soil will lead to poor growth and at the end poor yield. So you have to test your soil. Remember, the healthier the soil, the healthier your crop. So you have to test your soil. Test your soil to know the pH level of that soil. The soil structure and the soil texture is also important in this case. You have to know these things so that you can be able to determine the kind of crop to grow on that particular land, because every crop has its own pH tolerance. So you have to get your facts right before you plant any crop on that particular land. So make sure you run your soil test and know the pH level of that soil before you start planting any crop at all. So get your facts right before you start planting. Soil testing will help you identify nutrient deficiency in that soil and how to correct it before you start. You correct the nutrients that is lacking in that soil before you plant. You will know how to handle it before you plant any crop on it. So that is the reason you have to test your soil before you start your planting. Once you have decided on the crop to go for, after testing your soil, you need to know the nutrient requirements of that particular crop. You need to research properly to know the kind of crop you will grow there and the nutrient requirement when it comes to water, when it comes to sunlight, when it comes to manuring. You need to know all these things, put them in place so that on the long run you don't fail. You don't fail and begin to blame others. For you to be successful in farming, you need to figure all these things out, figure it out before you start anything. If you have selected the kind of crop you want to grow, another thing you should factor in is weather condition. The environment you are into also determines the kind of crop you will grow there also. You have to find out the kind of crop you will grow. There are some crops, there are some seeds that are drought resistant. So if the weather in your environment as of the time you want to farm is, maybe you are in dry season, as we are in dry season now, so what you do is to use a drought resistant crop. And also do not forget your irrigation must be installed. As we are having change of weather, when we expect rain we won't see rain. So all those things is what you need to put in place. What if you plant and there is no rain? What are you going to do? So you have to get your facts right, install drip irrigation if need be. If it is in dry season, it is a must, and also you have access to water, which will lead you into installing your irrigation system. So you have to know whether you are going to use borehole, depending on the kind of farm. If it is a commercial farm, you need water, okay. So you have to figure out the environment you are. Some areas, before they get rain, is very, very difficult. So what you do is to install your drip irrigation. Plan to install one in your farm for you to be successful. If not, your crops will die. I wonder how crops will survive without water. They will all die off. So the best thing for you to do is to plan ahead, know the environment you are into, and know the kind of crop to grow there, whether you will use drought resistant crop or just normal crop. There are some that are good in rainy season, and there are some crops that are good in dry season. So these are the things you will figure out depending on your environment and the time you are planting. So figure these things out. By the time you are done, you will have a successful farm business. So as a farmer who wants to diversify, or as a new farmer who wants to start either a commercial farm or a small farm, you have to sit down and plan very well. Figure out things, make your research, know the kind of crop or animal you want to rear, get adequate knowledge on what you want to start up, so that you do not fail. You don't fail and begin to blame other people. So these are the things you need to figure out. Proper planning. Once you plan properly, there will be success. So I'll be ending this video here. Like I said earlier, it's going to be a series. So this is just the first series. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now. Give me a thumbs up and also share. Okay, join this great community. See you in my next video. Have a nice day. Bye.